Hello, welcome to my YouTube. Today I'm going to kind of recap, because it's been a while since I made a video. I'm going to recap everything that's been going on and do a little video on the transfer. This video specifically is just going to be information about the transfer. I'm not a doctor. This is just our protocol that we did. It was successful. I'm 31 weeks and 1 day as of today. I will do a bump update. But it's been so long that I figured I would just recap. The last thing I was talking about was we did our egg retrieval. So we did get 28 eggs. Out of the 28, 23 of them were mature. 21 lasted and were able to be fertilized. So out of those 21, 18 of them made it to day 5 blast, and we froze those. So the embryo that we transferred was a day 5. It was graded as a 4AA. We did not get PT. We didn't get it tested because there were so many of them and just cost of that was extreme. But then we did wait about a year to do our transfer. Maybe a little bit over a year. No, I think it was exactly a year because we started our transfer in February and my egg retrieval, I believe, was in February. So it was a year. We moved, we changed jobs, there was just a lot. We were waiting for the right time. Didn't seem like the right time. And honestly, when we started this transfer, we didn't expect it to work. It did. But we didn't expect it. We were always told maybe 3rd, 4th transfer would work. So we kind of wanted to get my body in the motions of going through it and start getting my hormones right. But it did work. 31 weeks, 1 day as of today. I'll do a bump update. But this video is specifically going to be about the transfer and all the details, the medications I was taking. It is our protocol. I'm not a doctor. I'm not going to say this is going to be the same for you. It's just what we had to do. So, I'll start with the medications that I was on for the transfer, and then I'll kind of go through all of the appointments and how much I was taking, when I was taking it. So, we started with an appointment, like a monitoring appointment, to see baseline, how everything was. There was letrozole, zithromax, flora, estrace, prometrium, methylprednisone, Valium. Of course, my battery's going to be low on my laptop. I have it all on my laptop so that I don't forget anything. And it's been a year, so I don't remember everything. But, so I went and got all these medications. Started with the letrozole, 5 milligrams on February 27th. It was 2 tabs daily for 5 days. I think it was 5 milligrams. And then we did the Zithromax, 2 tabs on day 1, and then 1 tab for 5 days. And Jake also had to do that because it was just, heartburn. So that we didn't give each other any infections or anything before we started our transfer. Then I did the Flora Sap, started that on March 2nd after the antibiotics, and it was 1 applicator. That was vaginally for 10 days, so it was just putting good bacteria back into my body after the antibiotics. We had another monitoring appointment March 5th. Then they told me to start my estrace, which is a form of estrogen. I believe it's just to get blood flow to the uterine lining to make it a little thicker, or help it thicken for the transfer. It was half a tab, so 1 milligram, and I was to be on that until they told me to stop. My next appointment was March 8th. They told me my endometrial lining was 4.8 millimeters. Now, they wanted it between like an 8 and 9 millimeter. So there was no changes to the medication. I was still taking the estrace, 1 milligram, so half a tab. And then my next appointment was going to be March 11th. They didn't tell me my lining at that appointment, which was kind of frustrating. So I emailed them and I asked them, and they told me that it was a 7.3. So it was going up. And then my next appointment was going to be the March 14th. So March 14th, they did book my transfer. It was for March 19th. And the medications that they wanted me to take was the estrace, half a tab, methylprednisone, 3 tabs all at once. So I think that's just another form of antibiotic, I think. I don't really remember what that was for. And then I started my Prometrium, 2 tabs, 3 times daily. So they were 100 milligram tabs. And that was also, it's like a little pearl that is a vaginal suppository. So I started that. And then they started me on my progesterone in oil. And that was a 50 milligram, 1 milliliter. And it was, the syringes were probably this big. And they had to go in my butt. Didn't like that. And then Valium, 5 milligrams. I was to take that on March 19th, 1 hour before my transfer, to kind of calm you down, make sure you didn't cramp up during the transfer, just to make the process a little bit easier. I had a lining and progesterone check March 18th. And then March 19th was my transfer day, which I was nervous for. It wasn't as bad as I thought it would be. Honestly, the worst part of the entire transfer was a speculum, which any girl knows, that sucks. For pap smears, anything, it sucks. It hurts. I assume it hurts everyone. Maybe it doesn't, but it's uncomfortable. And then they put the catheter in with the embryo, and it was all on a TV screen. I didn't film any of it because you couldn't. But it was cool because we got to watch on a big TV screen. Jake was with me. We got to watch on a big TV screen the embryo go inside. They did give us a picture of the embryo, which I'll probably put as the thumbnail. But we didn't know it then, but that was our boy. So a 4AA. They didn't tell me the grade until I actually got there and asked them, because everyone I've seen, they told them beforehand. We did get a picture of our embryo beforehand, but they didn't tell us the grade. So I really wanted to know that before we started. Then March 20th, I had another progesterone check. And honestly, for the transfer, the Valium, a lot of people are scared to take it because they thought they would be like loopy and whatever. No, it didn't affect me at all, other than I didn't cramp. So that was good. So March 20th, another progesterone check, my estrace, half a tab, the Prometrium, 2 tabs 3 times daily, until they tell me otherwise. And then they changed my PIO, which is progesterone in oil, to 37.5 milligrams, so 0.75 milliliter in the evening. And I started that 5 days before my transfer. I started that on the 14th, and that was 1 milliliter on the 14th. So they did go down a little bit. And then they booked my pregnancy test for April 2nd. Didn't get the results for that until April 3rd. And let me tell you, those, I think it's 14 days, 10 days, 2 weeks in between waiting for your blood work to come back is excruciating. It was the hardest thing I had to do for the entire process, was wait to hear if it worked or not. Well, my laptop died, so I'm just gonna have to go off memory. But yeah, so April 3rd, I got my results for my HCG, and that was 8,664. So I was pregnant. And let me tell you, I bawled my eyes out. I was not expecting it. I was so nervous. I didn't even want to read the email, but I cried. And everyone was laughing at me because it made me so nervous. But then I got retested in 2 days. I'm not going to go with dates anymore because I can't remember. That's why I had it all on my laptop. But, so 2 days, I got it tested again, and it's supposed to double in 48 hours. That's what I'm told. I'm sure some people it doesn't double, and that's totally fine. Some are slow. But mine was 17,613, I believe. So I'm pretty sure it doubled, or if not, super close to doubling. And then I didn't get another one after that. They booked my dating scan for... This is going to be really difficult without a laptop. But they booked my dating scan. I'm going to have to get my laptop. This is stressful. I can't remember. That's a part of pregnancy brain. I'm sure if anybody's ever been pregnant, you'll know that it sucks and you can't remember anything. So, let me see if I can find another charger. Because my husband brought the charger to the storage unit because we've been putting a bunch of stuff in storage to do in the nursery and make enough room. So let me see if I can find another one so that I can get the exact dates. I didn't find a charger. I'm just gonna try and do it as quickly as possible until it actually dies, because it was at 20% and I don't know why it turned off. But we're gonna see if I can get through it, or at least, I don't know, take a picture of the dates so that I can have it. Apologies. My husband doesn't pay attention to things. I should have wrote it down on a piece of paper. Now I'm bummed. It's not working. I do not have an extra charger for a laptop. Let me just say that. That's frustrating. Okay, I'm just gonna try and do it by memory. But they booked my dating scan. I think it was supposed to be for 8 weeks after my HCG test. I did end up going into the hospital due to some bleeding and complications at 5 weeks. So I did get to see the baby on ultrasound, or at least the sac on ultrasound at 5 weeks. And that's a whole nother story. Like, there's been complications throughout the whole pregnancy. I will make another video on that. And like symptoms of pregnancy, but I've gotten lucky so far. I haven't really had any symptoms until I reached my 3rd trimester, and then heartburn just knocked me out. So, but transfer-wise, it was pretty simple. I did have to, I can tell you this, I did have to do the progesterone and oil. They did decrease me to about 0.25 milliliters, and then I had another appointment and they increased me again to 0.50 milliliters. So it did drop just a little bit. It was within the normal range, but it did drop. Now, I had to take my S-trace, which is for blood flow, my lining. I did have to take that until 12 weeks, and it was the same dose, 1 milliliter for 12 weeks. My prometrium, the little pearls that I told you about, I did have to take that for 12 weeks, 2 tabs, 3 times a day, and I am still on them until 36 weeks, but I only have to do 1 tab 3 times a day. So I'm still doing, instead of doing 600 milligrams, I'm only doing 300 milligrams now. Honestly, worst. I'd rather give myself my injections. And I only had to do my injections for 12 weeks. And then I could stop. I didn't stop them in exactly 12 weeks. I know I did a couple days over because it made me really nervous to stop them. And my doctor said that was okay. It wasn't a huge deal. I was just giving myself extra progesterone at that point. But I did end up stopping the S-trace early because of bleeding and complications. But yeah, now all I'm on are my prenatals, vitamins, and my prometrium. Now, I did want to add, the reason that we had to do IVF in the first place was because I have no fallopian tubes. One was removed during an emergency surgery for an ectopic pregnancy, and the second was removed because there was so much damage from that. And I think they said it was stuck to a wall inside me. It couldn't be fixed. He tried, it couldn't be fixed. So we had to take that one out too. And now I did want to do a bump update for everyone because I'm sure you remember what it looked like when I was doing my injections a year ago. So I want to show you the difference in what it looks like now. So this is in a sweater. And this is the bump. I got a hole in my shirt. I didn't know that until right now. But that is 31 weeks, 1 day. So I pretty much live in oversized sweaters at this point. But they're comfortable. It's getting cold out. What are you gonna do? Now, summer, it was difficult to look cute because nothing fit. And I don't like to buy new stuff. So, yeah, that is the explanation on how our transfer went. It was a little delayed, but I'm happy at how it turned out. It was successful. We're blessed. Okay, so rewatching the video that I made, and I put it all together and I rewatched it before I'm going to post it. But a couple things I wanted to add. One, if it sounds like I can't breathe, that's because I can't. Because the baby is pushing so far into my lungs that it's just, everything makes me feel like I'm losing my breath. Two, for my injections, it was not Jake giving me my injections most of the time. It was my dad. I did bleed. If you're going to give yourself injections, sometimes it's the way you put the needle in. Sometimes it's just taking the needle out too quick. I did bleed most of the time. Sometimes. It depends. And yeah, if it sounds like I'm forgetting a lot of stuff, that's okay. Just put it in the comments. I will respond to any questions anybody has to the best of my capabilities. And yeah, I am missing my earring. I didn't notice it until I rewatched the video, but I'm not going to redo the entire video. So that's that. Thank you for watching, and hopefully you watch the next video of all the complications. If you want to see something specific, drop a comment and I will make a video about it. Thank you.